This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. And now also available on the AB4WS radio show YouTube channel. With the unpredictable and tumultuous spring weather coming, the question has to be asked of all amateur radio operators: have you completed the National Weather Service Skywarn Weather Spotter training? This is the time of year the National Weather Service offers in-person and virtual classes, and the classes are usually only a couple hours in duration, and you will receive a certification for completing the training program, making you an official storm spotter. Check out the National Weather Service website for the schedule of storm spotter training classes coming to your area. Several Indiana amateur radio operators are sporting the newly designed Indiana Amateur Radio Vehicle registration plates on their vehicle. Those Hoosier hams are looking pretty nice. It is almost spring, and you know what that means. The Flying Pig is coming to town May 1st through the 3rd, and Steve, NATFD, is looking for amateur radio volunteers to assist with the race, administration, and communications. If you can help, please reach out to NATFD at fuse.net. The ARRL reports that the Federal Communication Commission, FCC, has adopted changes to its rules requiring that every holder of an FCC registration number, an FRN number, update their contact information in the core system, both their email and post office address, within 10 business days of a change. Every FCC licensee, including amateur radio operators, must have an FRN to file applications. This requirement applies to all licensed amateurs. FRN contact information is handled separately and apart from the contact information related to a license in the license manager system. Both records need to be kept up to date, and each requires a separate update. Until now, no specific deadline existed for updating FRN or license contact information. Instead, the amateur rules at sections 97.21 and 97.23 provide that a license may be suspended or revoked if the FCC correspondence is returned as undeliverable because of an incorrect address or email. These provisions remain in effect, as well as a 10-day deadline applicable for FRN information. So make sure you keep both your email and your postal address information up to date in both the CORS and the FRN license manager systems for the FCC. This year, in celebration of the 250th anniversary of the country, the ARRL has kicked off the America 250 Worked All States operating event. Each state will have 2 weeks of using W1AW call with their call sign district. This week, February 25th through March 4th, is Arizona W1AW/7 and Georgia W1AW/4. There'll be no activations from March 4th through March 11th. For more information on the event, go to ARRL.org/America250-WAS. The Dayton Hamvention is just around the corner on May 15th through May 17th, and the Toledo Mobile Radio Association is getting ready to make the trip easier on you from Toledo, Ohio. They're getting a bus that will leave 727 Lime City Road in Rossford, Ohio at 5:30 a.m. on May 16th and travel to the Hamvention and return that evening. For more information and to register your seat on the bus, go to w8rp.org/DaytonBus2026. Georgetown, Ohio repeater on 146.730 with a PL tone of 162.2 is participating in the South 40 Net 6 nights a week. The South 40 Net links repeaters across southern Ohio using All-Star for their net. They encourage everyone to join in on this net. You can connect to one of the repeaters or by connecting directly on All-Star to node number 669400. The net is held Monday through Saturday on 9 p.m. Eastern Time, with the Grant Amateur Radio Club net held on Sunday nights. Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern is the ARRL Audio News. On Wednesday night at 8 p.m. is the Grant Amateur Radio Club Brag Chew, and on Thursday at 8 p.m. is the Amateur Radio Newsline. Maybe they should consider adding the AB4WS radio show to their lineup as well. Congratulations to Matt, K4NKU, who successfully completed his Parks on the Air Kilo Award at the Decker Wildlife Management Area, US 9756. Congratulations, Matt. POTA on. Sad news that Roger Cole, N8PET, has become a silent key. Roger was a longtime member of the Milford Amateur Radio Club and a volunteer at the Cincinnati Hamfest. This year's Hamfest will be dedicated in his memory. While cold and snow was in our area back home, I was invited to participate in the Charlotte County Amateur Radio Society Cars Fox Hunt event. 16 amateur radio operators in the Charlotte County, Florida area participated in the event, and it was lots of fun with lunch at Wally's Barbecue afterward. It was a great time. By the way, the weather for the event was sunny and about 80 degrees. March 1st is the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club monthly Simplex Net on the 146.580 at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which is always held the first Sunday of the month. They invite any licensed amateur radio operator to join them by checking in. Perhaps you cannot hear the net control station at your location. Well, no problem. Just listen and eventually you'll hear a station who will take your check-in and relay it into net control. The net starts by stations who can hear net control, with each of those stations then put out calls and take check-ins from stations who can hear them. Then the next set of check-ins will be asked to put out calls and take check-ins for the stations that can hear their station as well. After the net, you can then post who you were able to hear in your net report on the NKARC groups.io page. This is an effective way to test your equipment and to learn how you can use your equipment if something should happen and the repeaters were all off the air. It's also a great training opportunity. A pro tip is to open up your squelch on your radio, and you'll be amazed at how many other signals you'll be able to hear in the noise that were squelched out. For the first Sunday night of the month at 6 p.m., tune to 146.580 and join the net. The crazy weather we've been having and the onset of the usual spring weather, it's important for all amateur radio operators to be weather aware, and a nice addition to help you keep up with the weather happenings when things get a little dicey is the Kentucky Severe Storm Weather Net, held on XLX 721 Alpha, a multi-mode communications network. The net is scheduled for March 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and is always held on the first Monday of the month. This gives you a chance to check in and make sure your equipment is working so that when a storm hits, you'll be ready. There are multiple ways to connect to this multi-mode communications network. If you have one of the M1KE devices, just connect it to XLX 721 Alpha. For DMR, connect your hotspot or connect to the repeater to Brandmeister Talk Group 3121232. For C4FM radios, connect your hotspot to YSF Reflector 51149. There are two ways to connect to the network by D-Star. Either connect to DCS 721 Alpha or connect to REF 056 Alpha. For Echolink, connect to KY4RW-L. This allows everyone to communicate with each other regardless of the mode you are using, and you can hear everyone regardless of the mode they are on. It's a really neat system that's up 24/7 except for Echolink, which is only active for the nets, so check it out anytime. Thanks to Ray, KY4RW, and Larry, NN4H, for this neat system. Make sure you check out the door prizes for the 50th Annual Cave City Hamfest on March 7th at 502 Mammoth Cave Street in Cave City, Kentucky. Your admission ticket gets you a chance to win a Yaesu FT891 or a Yaesu FTM 310DR. Want more chances to win? Well, you can purchase extra chances for the drawing as well. Good luck! On March 16th at 7 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will be meeting at 7 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky, and everyone is invited to hear this exciting program. The Kentucky Summits on the Air Soda Group is hosting the 4th Annual Kentucky Campout on the weekend of March 28, 2026 at the Kingdom Come State Park in Cumberland, Kentucky. They will host a pancake breakfast at 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Sunday morning at the Upper Pavilion in the main camping area. Make sure you make your campground reservations by calling Sherry at 606-589-4138 or email her at sherry.cornett@ky.gov, and you also need to email Michael, N4DCW, the Kentucky Soda Association Manager, at Michael, Michael, at N4DCW.com to RSVP for the attendee rooster. Up-to-date information can be found at https://reflector.soda.org.uk/T/2026-soda-Kentucky-campout/39146. Are you ready for Summer Field Day, June 27th to 28th? Well, the Okayan Amateur Radio Society is already starting their preparation for the event. They have once again secured reservations for the Mitchell Memorial location and are looking about adding an additional day on Thursday to set up the creature comfort things that they need to have set up. Friday will be the usual antenna and station setup. There will also be other things in the works. Your Field Day chairman, Eric, NAYC, is continuing, but is looking to recruit a replacement. So if you're interested in shadowing him this year and learning the ropes for next year, reach out to N8YC.
Repeater news.
Are you looking for the most up-to-date list of repeaters in the greater Cincinnati area? Well, I have an Excel spreadsheet where I've listed repeaters that are active in the area, separated by tabs for each band or mode, so you can easily look for just DMR repeaters or 2-meter analog repeaters and so on. The list includes 2 meters, 220, 440, 6 meters, D-Star, DMR, C4FM, P25, and some other classifications. Every time I update the file, I include the date and the file name so that you know you have the latest update. To download the file, go to the AB4WS Radio Show Facebook page and go to the file section and download the file. If you're not on Facebook, email me at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com and I can email you the latest file. If you see any errors, problems, additions, or corrections, email that information to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com. Kyle, K4KTR, is working on a program to help keep several of the Louisville repeaters on the air after losing the tower site that they were located on. His plans are to move the 146.940 repeater and the 443.000 DMR repeater to a new location located downtown on top of the bank building. He has just about everything in place to make this happen except for funding for the new location. The rent for the new site is $2,800 for the year. The 146.940 repeater has played a very historical role for amateur radio in the Louisville, Kentucky area, having been on the air since 1974 and originally started as an AM repeater. The system has served the Louisville metropolitan amateur radio community for decades, and he, along with others, believe its work in preserving and improving this repeater. As part of the move, he will be upgrading the 146.940 repeater, and since it's a fusion repeater, he'll be adding Wires X capability to expand the functionality and connectivity of the repeater. Kyle is asking that anyone that is interested in financially helping with this project donate money to the project's Venmo at K4KTR. Once the goal is reached to pay for the first year's rent, he will sign the contract and complete the move. The Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association has successfully adjusted the audio levels on the Monticello 150 and the Somerset 88 All-Star link so that both repeaters' audio are working great into the link system.
Hamfest.
March 7th is the Cave City Hamfest, 502 Mammoth Cave Street in Cave City, Kentucky. Talk in on the 146.94 repeater with a PL tone of 114.8. March 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is the Northern Ohio Amateur Radio Society Winter Hamfest at the Lorain County Community College, College Center, Commons area, 1005 North Abbey Road in Elyria, Ohio. For more information, go to noars.net/hamfest/winter-hamfest. March 15th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the Toledo Mobile Radio Association Hamfest at the Owens County Community College Student Health and Activity Center, 7315 Championship Drive in Perrysburg, Ohio. For more information, go to w8hhf.org/hamfest. The granddaddy of all hamfests, the Dayton Hamvention, will be held May 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Greene County Fair and Expo Center, 210 Fairground Road in Xenia, Ohio. For more information, go to hamvention.org.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. March 7th, there'll be a testing session at the Cave City Hamfest, 502 Mammoth Cave Street in Cave City, Kentucky at 9 a.m. Central Time. For more information, email Chappie, KD4SS at KD4SS@ARRL.net. On March 8th, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Society will host an amateur radio testing session at 9:15 a.m. at the Old Elmwood Recreation Center, 6200 Wisniewski Parkway in Independence, Ohio. For more information, call 216-560-1320 or email metro351@sbcglobal.net. On March 16th at 5:30 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will hold an amateur radio exam session at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by going to hamstudy.org/session/NKY-VE. Special thanks to this week's content contributors: AB4FS, KY4ROD, AC4HI, KD9EYU, WB8VNH, KY4GW, WB8YYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area. This is Jack Prindle, AB4WS, normally in Big Bone, Kentucky, but this week coming to you from Port Charlotte, Florida.